Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires while others struggle endlessly? Ladies and gentlemen, you have been taught to ask with words, to plead, to beg, as though the power that grants all things exists outside of you. You have been conditioned to believe that the universe must be convinced, that it must be swayed by desperation or moved by suffering. But I tell you, this is not the way. The universe does not respond to pleading. It does not recognize lack. It does not hear the cry of the one who believes they do not have. It only responds to assumption, the quiet, unshakable certainty that what is desired is already yours. Look at the world around you. Everything you see, every building, every great invention, every moment of success was once only an assumption held in the mind of its creator. It was first believed before it was seen. The laws that govern this universe are not based on struggle, but on the firm conviction that what is assumed to be true will harden into fact. When you ask the universe for something, you are not making a request to an external force. You are speaking directly to yourself, to the infinite intelligence that moves through all things, and it will give you exactly what you assume to be true. Not what you want, not what you hope for, but what you have already claimed is yours in the silence of your imagination. To assume is to know. It is to live in the end, to walk with the confidence of one who has already received. It is not enough to wish for wealth while holding on to the belief that money is difficult to attain. It is not enough to pray for love while believing yourself unworthy of it. The universe is not deceived by empty words. It sees only the state in which you dwell. And if you remain in the state of lack, you will continue to receive lack. Consider this. When you order a meal at a restaurant, do you beg the waiter to bring it? Do you repeatedly ask if it is on its way? Or do you place the order and trust that it will be prepared and delivered to you? This is the way of assumption. The moment you declare a thing to be yours, it is set into motion. The unseen forces of creation begin their work, arranging the circumstances necessary to bring it into your world. But if you doubt, if you question, if you allow impatience to creep in, you uproot the very seed you have planted. Many will say, but I have asked and I have not received. And I tell you, it is not because you have not asked correctly, but because you have not assumed correctly. You may have spoken the words, but in your heart you still remain in the state of the one who wants rather than the one who has. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot ask for abundance while feeling poor. You cannot desire health while believing in sickness. The two cannot exist together, for one will always overpower the other. The great truth is this: the universe has already given you all that you desire. There is nothing to earn, nothing to prove, nothing to beg for. You need only align yourself with the state of having. You must become so deeply convinced of your desire's reality that you no longer feel the need to question it. The moment you assume it, it is done. And if you remain faithful to that assumption, the world will be compelled to reflect it back to you in ways beyond your comprehension. Think of a child who pretends to be a great king or a mighty warrior. He does not doubt his role. He does not question whether he is truly powerful. He assumes the feeling of his imagined reality so completely that for him it becomes truth. And in time, this inner conviction shapes his outer world. This is how all things are created, not through force, not through effort, but through the effortless power of assumption. You must cease asking with uncertainty. You must stop seeking signs, stop looking for proof. These are the habits of one who does not yet believe. Instead, move as though the thing you seek is already yours. Speak as one who has received. Think as one who possesses. This is the great secret that so few understand. The universe will not respond to your words, but to the state of being you inhabit. And so I ask you now, what do you truly believe? Not what you say you believe, but what you know to be true, deep within. Are you still begging, still hoping, still waiting for a sign? Or have you stepped into the reality of your assumption? For the moment you do, the moment you abandon all doubt and claim your desire with certainty, the universe must comply. It has no choice, for it is only an extension of you. The power is not in the asking, but in the knowing. To ask with certainty is to assume. To assume is to receive. And once you understand this, once you live by this truth, your world will never be the same. There is a power within you that is far greater than anything you have ever been told. It is the bridge between what you see and what you wish to see. It is the force that brings forth worlds, that shapes destinies, that bends reality to the will of the one who understands its use. This power is your imagination. You have been conditioned to believe that imagination is nothing more than idle fantasy, a fleeting daydream with no substance, no weight, no power. But I tell you, imagination is the blueprint of reality. It is the creator of all things. It is the silent architect that constructs your world according to the images you hold within. Before anything can exist in the outer world, it must first be imagined. Every great invention, every towering building, every work of art, every moment of triumph, each began as nothing more than a thought, a picture in the mind of one who dared to believe in what was not yet seen. Look at your own life. Look at the circumstances you find yourself in, the relationships you have, the opportunities or struggles you face. You may believe that these things have come to you by chance, by luck, by fate, but I tell you, they have come to you through your imagination, whether you were conscious of it or not. The images you have repeatedly entertained, the ideas you have allowed to take root, the visions you have held in your mind, they have shaped your reality. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. Many people live their lives unaware of this truth. They allow their imagination to run wild, not realizing that every fearful thought, every doubt, every limitation they accept is being impressed upon the unseen forces that govern their reality. They imagine failure, and so failure comes. They imagine rejection, and so they imagine struggle, and so struggle becomes their experience. They do not see that they are the cause of their own conditions, and so they blame the world, unaware that they are merely looking into a mirror. But the one who understands the power of imagination wields the key to the universe. The one who knows that all things are first created in mind before they can be seen with the eyes is the master of his fate. He does not accept the limitations of the outer world, for he knows that the outer world is but an echo, a delayed reflection of the assumptions he has held within. To change your life, you must first change the images you hold in your imagination. You must learn to see not with the eyes of the body, but with the eyes of the mind. If you wish to be wealthy, you must first see yourself as wealthy. If you desire love, you must first imagine yourself deeply loved. If you seek success, you must first assume the feeling of success within. This is not fantasy, this is the law of creation. The mistake many make is believing that they must wait for proof before they accept something as true. They say, I will believe it when I see it. But the truth is the opposite. You will see it when you believe it. The world does not bring you what you wish for, it brings you what you assume to be real. And assumption begins in the imagination. Consider the artist who paints a masterpiece. He does not begin with a blank canvas, hoping that the final image will somehow appear on its own. No, he first sees it in his mind. He imagines the colors, the shapes, the depth, the beauty of the final work. He holds this image so clearly that it becomes as real to him as if it were already painted, and only then does he begin. Only then does the masterpiece take form. Your life is no different. It is a masterpiece in the making, shaped by the vision you hold within. If you wish to ask the universe for something, you do not do so with words alone. You do so by constructing in your imagination the reality you wish to experience. You see it, you feel it, You dwell in it, and most importantly, you accept it as real. You do not ask with uncertainty. You do not wonder if it will come to pass. You step into the assumption that it is already done. Do not let the senses deceive you. The outer world may tell you that your desire is impossible, that circumstances are against you, that reality is fixed and unchangeable. But you must remember that what you see now is only a reflection of your past assumptions. It is not a prison. It is only a record. And just as it was created, it can be recreated. The moment you change the picture in your imagination, the moment you accept a new reality within, the outer world must shift to match it. It does not matter if others do not believe. It does not matter if the world tells you otherwise. Your imagination is the source of all creation, and the one who understands this truth holds infinite power. So I ask you now, what have you been imagining? What pictures have you allowed to take root in your mind? Are they pictures of abundance or scarcity, of love or loneliness, of success or failure? Do not be careless with this gift. Do not allow fearful thoughts to dictate your fate. Take control of your imagination, and you will take control of your destiny. For the bridge between where you stand and where you wish to be is built within the mind. And the moment you step onto that bridge, the moment you assume your desire is already real, the universe has no choice but to bring it into form. The great secret of creation lies not in effort, not in struggle, not in striving, but in a power so subtle, so effortless, that most overlook it entirely. It is the power of feeling. It is the quiet, unseen force that molds reality, that draws to you the very essence of your assumptions. It is not enough to think of a desire, to speak of it, to visualize it. You must feel it as real. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, for feeling is the secret to all creation. The world responds not to empty words, but to the vibration of certainty. Thought alone has no creative power unless it is infused with feeling. You may tell yourself 1,000 times that you are wealthy, that you are loved, that you are successful, but if you do not feel the truth of these statements, they will remain lifeless words. It is feeling that gives them substance, that breathes life into them, that causes them to take form. The universe does not bring you what you merely wish for. It brings you what you are. And what you are is determined by what you feel. If you desire abundance, you must feel abundant. If you seek love, you must feel loved. If you long for success, you must feel the triumph of achievement within yourself. This is not pretending, nor is it self-deception. It is the conscious act of knowing that what you seek is already yours. It is stepping into the state of having and refusing to acknowledge any reality other than the one you have chosen. Many believe they must wait for external proof before they can allow themselves to feel a certain way. They wait for money before they feel wealthy. They wait for love before they feel loved. They wait for success before they feel accomplished. But this is the great mistake, for it is not the world that determines feeling, but feeling that determines the world. The moment you assume a feeling as your own, the world is set into motion to reflect it back to you. There is no power in forcing, in pushing, in efforting toward your desire. The more you struggle, the more you affirm that what you seek is not yet yours. True creation is effortless because it comes from a place of already having. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you move through life with a quiet confidence, with an unshakable knowing. You no longer seek confirmation from the outer world because you already possess the thing you desire in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. Observe how effortlessly the world reflects your habitual feelings. When you feel powerless, events arise to confirm your powerlessness. When you feel unworthy, circumstances appear to mirror that unworthiness. When you feel joyful, when you feel loved, when you feel abundant, life conspires to prove these feelings true. This is not coincidence, this is law. The outer world is but a shadow of the inner state. Change the inner state, and the shadow must follow. Many ask, how can I assume the feeling of something that has not yet appeared? But the truth is, you have already done this countless times in your life. Recall a moment when you anticipated something with certainty. Perhaps it was an event you knew would happen, a meeting you were sure of, an outcome you had no doubt about. Before it appeared in the outer world, you already felt it as real. You acted in accordance with it. You moved with the assurance that it was coming, and soon enough it did. This same principle applies to all things. You must live in the end, not as one who hopes, not as one who wishes, but as one who knows. The feeling of fulfillment must precede its manifestation. It is not enough to say, I will be happy when my desire arrives. You must assume happiness now, for it is the assumption of the feeling that calls forth the reality. Doubt is the great destroyer of all things. The moment you entertain the question of if or when, you are stepping out of the state of having and into the state of lack. You must be unwavering. You must hold the feeling so deeply that it becomes more real to you than the evidence of your senses. The senses will try to deceive you. They will show you the opposite of what you seek. But the wise do not rely on appearances. They rely on the unseen, on the feeling that what they have assumed must come to pass. Do not mistake this for mere positive thinking. This is not about repeating affirmations without conviction. This is about becoming the embodiment of your desire before it is seen. The one who seeks wealth must walk with the posture, the certainty, the quiet assurance of wealth. The one who seeks love must radiate the warmth, the openness, the magnetism of one who is already deeply loved. The one who seeks success must move with the authority, the confidence, the knowing of one who has already achieved it. Every moment, you are planting seeds in the unseen realm. These seeds are your feelings, your assumptions, your convictions, and just as a seed planted in fertile soil must produce after its own kind, so too must your inner world produce the conditions that match your most dominant feelings. You cannot plant a seed of doubt and expect a harvest of certainty. You cannot plant a seed of fear and expect a harvest of joy. You cannot plant a seed of lack and expect abundance. This is the power you hold. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the creator, shaping your reality through the feelings you entertain. Choose wisely. Assume only that which you wish to experience. Dwell only in the states that serve your highest good. Let the feeling of the wish fulfilled become your dwelling place, and watch as the world bends to reflect the certainty of your assumption. The world you see before you is nothing but a reflection of the unseen reality within. Every event, every circumstance, every person that moves in and out of your life is drawn to you by the power of your assumptions. There is no randomness, no accidents, no forces outside of you shaping your destiny. The only cause of what you experience is your own state of consciousness. If you desire to change your life, you must first change your state. For the world outside of you can be nothing more than an outpicturing of the world within. A state is not a fleeting thought, nor is it a passing emotion. A state is a dwelling place, a position in consciousness from which you think, feel, and act. You may say you desire success, but if your dominant state is one of struggle, then struggle is what must appear. You may wish for love, but if your state is one of loneliness, then loneliness will be your portion. You do not receive what you merely want, you receive what you are. And what you are is determined by the state in which you dwell. To move into a new state, you must first become deeply aware of the state in which you currently reside. Observe your thoughts, your reactions, your emotions. Are they aligned with the life you wish to live? Or do they reflect an old story you have unconsciously accepted as true? Every habit of thought, every pattern of feeling, every automatic response is evidence of the state you occupy. If you continue to identify with a state of lack, a state of fear, a state of unworthiness, then the world must show you proof of these assumptions. It is not personal, it is law. The moment you recognize the state that is producing your current life, you have already begun to take power over it. For no state is fixed, no assumption is unchangeable. Just as you unknowingly accepted your current state, you may now consciously choose a new one. And the moment you make this decision, fully, completely, without hesitation, the world has no choice but to reorganize itself to reflect your new dwelling place in consciousness. The key is to move beyond wishful thinking and into living in the end. Do not wait for external confirmation. Do not look for signs. Do not ask whether your new state is working. The very act of seeking proof implies that you are still lingering in the old state. Instead, you must assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled so completely that it becomes your new natural state. You must think from the reality you seek, not of it. There is a great difference between imagining something as a possibility and assuming it as a certainty. To assume a new state is to accept it as your truth now. Not tomorrow, not when the evidence appears, but in this moment. You must so fully surrender to this new state that the old one fades into nothingness. You do not fight the old. You simply withdraw your attention from it. Where attention goes, energy flows. The more you fix your awareness on the state you wish to embody, the faster it solidifies into fact. If you wish to experience wealth, then assume the feeling of wealth now. Not in the distant future, not when circumstances change, but now. How does a wealthy person think? How do they feel? How do they move through the world? Step into that identity and refuse to entertain anything contrary to it. If you seek love, then assume the feeling of being deeply loved. Feel the warmth, the joy, the security of that love as if it were already yours. Do not seek love outside of yourself, for the outer world is only a mirror. Love must first be established within. The greatest challenge for many is the persistence required to remain faithful to their new state. It is easy to fall back into old patterns, to allow the senses to dictate what is real. But the wise understand that the senses only report the past. They do not determine the future. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid, ever-changing, always responding to the dominant state of consciousness. The only way to truly transform your life is to refuse to waver. Hold to your assumption. Live in your new state as though it were already fact, and the world will shape itself to confirm your certainty. The process is simple, but simplicity does not mean it is always easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments when the old state tries to reclaim its place, moments when the outer world appears unchanged. But these are only tests of faith, illusions meant to see whether you will hold firm to your new assumption or revert back to the familiar. The one who understands this does not react to appearances. He remains steady in his new state, knowing that what is felt as real within must become real. The shift into a new state is not accomplished through force or effort. It is accomplished through acceptance. It is done in the quiet of the mind, in the stillness where the conscious decision is made. This is who I am now. And once that decision is made, you must act in harmony with it. The words you speak, the thoughts you entertain, the way you carry yourself, all must reflect your new identity. You cannot say, I am wealthy, while simultaneously worrying about lack. You cannot say, I am loved, while dwelling in loneliness. The mind must be disciplined, unwavering in its loyalty to the new state. This is the great secret that so few understand. You are not bound by circumstances. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are only ever experiencing the reflection of the state in which you dwell. Change your state and you will change your world. Let go of the past. Release the old story. Step into the assumption of your desired reality with full conviction, and life itself will rise up to meet your new state of being. Everything that exists in your life today, every circumstance, every event, every relationship, is simply a reflection of your inner world. There is nothing happening outside of you that was not first set into motion within. The outer world is not separate from you, it is you pushed out. If you seek to transform your life, you must begin by transforming your inner conversations, your silent assumptions, and the unseen activity of your imagination, for these are the true creators of reality. The great secret is that the world responds not to what you say, not to what you wish, but to what you believe yourself to be. You may desire wealth, health, or love, but if, deep within, your inner dialogue contradicts these desires, the world can only reflect back the state you most consistently occupy. You cannot deceive life. It is but a perfect mirror. It does not listen to empty affirmations. It listens to the deep convictions of your heart. Consider for a moment the conversations you have with yourself throughout the day. They are ceaseless, unbroken, and habitual. You talk to yourself more than you speak to any other person, and yet few ever stop to question the nature of these conversations. What are you telling yourself? What reality are you constructing through your inner dialogue? If you observe carefully, you will see that these silent conversations dictate your experience of the world far more than any external action ever could. If you truly wish to change your life, you must begin by changing these inner conversations. You must train yourself to think only from the reality you wish to experience, never of it as something separate or distant. When you think from the desired state, you assume it as your own. You begin to be the person you desire to become, and in doing so, you call forth the corresponding circumstances that match this new identity. There is no force in this, no struggle, no effort. The world effortlessly conforms to the assumptions you hold as true. If you assume you are successful, you will walk with a quiet confidence, and life will mirror that confidence back to you. If you assume you are loved, you will naturally express warmth and kindness, and love will surround you in return. There is no need to chase, no need to seek, no need to strive. The world moves in harmony with the inner state you consistently embody. Most people fail to realize that they are already using this principle, but often to their own detriment. They unknowingly rehearse conversations of lack, of doubt, of failure, and wonder why these experiences continue to manifest in their lives. They speak to themselves in ways they would never allow another to speak to them. They repeat to themselves, I am not good enough, I never succeed, things never work out for me, and then live out these assumptions as if they were fate. But fate is nothing more than the crystallization of these habitual patterns of thought. To reclaim your power, you must become vigilant in observing your inner dialogue. The moment you catch yourself engaging in a conversation that contradicts your desired reality, stop it immediately. Do not entertain it, do not argue with it, do not give it life. Instead, replace it instantly with the conversation that aligns with your chosen state. If you desire success, think and speak as though success were already yours. If you desire love, think and speak as though you are already cherished beyond measure. If you desire health, think and speak as though vitality and strength flow through you effortlessly. This is not about mere positive thinking. It is about assuming a new identity at the deepest level. It is about knowing that what you claim inwardly must be expressed outwardly. The moment you accept a new assumption, the world begins its reorganization. You may not see the changes immediately, but they are set into motion the instant you shift your inner world. Time and time again, the pattern repeats. Those who transform their self-concept transform their lives. It is not the external struggle that creates change, but the internal shift in awareness. The one who moves from a state of lack into a state of abundance will soon find opportunities, ideas, and circumstances aligning to match this new reality. The one who moves from fear into confidence will find that the world bends to accommodate their newfound certainty. If you wish to test this for yourself, begin now. Observe your inner conversations. Each time you catch yourself speaking words of limitation, immediately replace them with words of power. Each time you find yourself entertaining thoughts of doubt, turn them into thoughts of certainty. Be deliberate in the stories you tell yourself, for they are shaping your tomorrows. This is the true creative power that lies within. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. It is the perfect outpicturing of your inner state. Change your inner world and the outer world must change in kind. You need not force, you need not fight, you need only to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until it hardens into fact. The law is infallible. Use it wisely. The power to create, to manifest, to shape reality is not something external to you. It is within you. It is not found in rituals, in luck, in forces beyond your control. It is in the silence of your own mind, in the imaginal acts that go unnoticed by the world, yet determine the course of your life. The unseen world of imagination is the blueprint of reality, and what you dare to claim within, with full conviction, must express itself without. There is no power in mere daydreaming, no magic in idle fantasy. True creation is not the passing wish or the casual thought. It is the deep, sustained assumption that what you imagine is already true. Every great achievement, every transformation, every breakthrough first existed as an imaginal act, long before the senses had proof of its reality. The world you see is simply the echo of what was once imagined. Most people are unaware that they are constantly imagining, that they are continually shaping their reality through the unseen activity of their mind. They look at the world and react to it, believing that circumstances dictate their state of being. But this is the great illusion. It is not the outer world that creates the inner. It is the inner world that gives birth to the outer. The unseen precedes the seen. The cause is always within. To truly harness this power, there must be a deliberate use of imagination. It is not enough to simply wish for a better life. There must be a conscious, purposeful assumption of the state desired. The question is not whether imagination works, it is always working. The only question is whether it is being used consciously or unconsciously. Those who live in repeated patterns of struggle and limitation are often unaware that they are imagining these conditions into being. They hold within them the feeling of being restricted, and life must conform to this assumption. They see themselves as powerless, and so the world reflects back that powerlessness. The secret is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to make it so real in the imagination that the senses become irrelevant. The one who truly understands this does not wait for the world to change before feeling the change within. They do not seek evidence, nor do they rely on appearances to confirm their inner reality. They live from the end, occupying the state of their desire as though it were already realized. This is the only way true transformation occurs. To imagine effectively, there must be a complete surrender to the reality of the assumption. It is not about hoping, not about merely visualizing as an observer, but about entering the scene as a participant. It must feel as though it is happening now, as though the senses are fully engaged in the reality of the imaginal act. There must be no separation between the imagined world and the world of experience. The more real it feels in the mind, the more swiftly it solidifies into fact. Many make the mistake of imagining for a moment and then doubting, of assuming their desire briefly, but then reverting to their old state. But the law is precise. It does not respond to temporary wishes. It responds to dominant states of being. If the inner assumption is maintained with persistence, it must externalize. If it is abandoned in favor of old habits of thought, then the old world remains unchanged. There can be no half measures, no oscillation between states. There must be unwavering conviction. The process is simple yet profound. Enter into the state desired in imagination. See the world from that place, not as something to be attained in the future, but as something already true. Feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of its fulfillment. Make this state so natural, so normal, that it feels more real than anything the senses report. The world outside may show no evidence yet, but that is irrelevant. The seed has been planted. The moment the imaginal act is accepted as reality, it must grow, and the world must conform to its shape. Doubt is the great enemy of creation. The moment one questions whether imagination is real, whether the assumption will manifest, the process is interrupted. The one who truly understands the law does not seek validation from the outer world. They know that what is imagined must be, that what is assumed must harden into fact. The wise do not react to circumstances, they create them. They do not wait for change, they embody it. The entire course of life is determined by the imaginal acts that go unnoticed by the world. Every great invention, every work of art, every achievement was first constructed in the unseen world before it became visible. Those who wait for circumstances to shift before changing their assumptions remain bound to the past. Those who boldly claim the reality of their desires, despite all evidence to the contrary, move mountains. Reality is fluid, ever-changing, shaped entirely by the unseen movements of mind. To master this law is to master life itself. No longer a victim of circumstances, no longer at the mercy of fate, the conscious creator understands that the world is only a shadow of their inner state. Change the inner, and the outer must follow. This is the way of transformation, the path of true creation. The great secret of life is that you are always creating, always shaping, always bringing into form that which you assume to be true. There is no outside force determining your fate, only your own consciousness, your own inner activity, your own persistent assumptions. The world is not separate from you, it is you reflected back in perfect measure. If you truly understand this, you will never again look to circumstances as the cause of your experience. You will never again wait for things to change before you feel different within. You will know that everything begins in imagination, that every transformation first occurs in the unseen before it becomes visible. You will no longer struggle, no longer chase, no longer hope, because you will know that assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the only work required. Persist in the assumption of your ideal. Do not waver. Do not allow the senses to dictate what is real. What you accept within, what you embody as truth, must become your reality. This is the law. There is no effort in it, no strain, no force. Only the quiet, unwavering conviction that what you have claimed in imagination is already yours. And when you dwell in this certainty, the world must conform. The outer must bow to the inner. This is the key to all creation, the truth behind every miracle, the power that has always been yours. Use it wisely, use it deliberately, and above all, use it now.